There is no guarantee for success, but there are ways to get closer to it when you do the right things. Who you surround yourself with is just as important as what you do. Finding the right people, the right classes, the right activities, and taking the right tests are all decisions that shape your future. Find out more today on Destination University with Dr. Cynthia Colon. Dr. Colon and her guests will give you the tips you need, whether you're a student, parent, or educator. Now, here is your host, Dr. Cynthia Colon.
Welcome to Destination University. We are running a special series this month called 30 Teens and 30 Dreams, where we follow 30 students on their college admission journey. They're seniors and they have been admitted to college, and they are telling us all there is to know, the behind the scenes truth, what they did right, what they would do differently, and where they're headed to college. If you are a college-bound teen or a champion of one, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Today, you're going to meet Julio. Spoiler alert, Julio is headed to USC, my alma mater. Woohoo! So we're going to hear all about his journey, because what's important to know is that USC was his #1 top choice dream college. And it takes courage and bravery to apply to your dream college and sit back and just wait to see if you were admitted. So he's going to tell us all the tips and secrets. Before we get to that, I'll give you the hot tip of the day. The hot tip of the day is this. If you are a freshman, a sophomore, or even especially if you are a junior, and you're not sure where to begin or how to get this process started, head over to bigfuture.org. You want to create an account. It's completely free. And what Big Future does is helps you walk through the steps for this college admission process. You can select colleges, you can search majors, you can search careers, you can even search scholarships. And when you create an account and follow the steps, you are also eligible to win scholarship money that they are giving out every single month. That's especially for the class of 2023. So head on over to bigfuture.org today and create your account for free. Okay, we're going to get started. Test sound check. Julio, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you all good.
Oh, and I can hear you perfectly. Excellent. And I might say out loud to everyone, he is looking pretty well rested because he is on spring break and is in Hawaii. So not too bad, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, this is a joy for me to interview you. And it's no secret to my listeners and viewers who know that I went to USC as well. And that's my homeland, my place, my happy place. And I'm super excited for you to become a Trojan. But this is all about you. And so I want you to tell our viewers and listeners so you've known that USC was your top choice, but when you go through the process, you have to come up with a list of schools that you would, if you don't get into your dream college, that you would also be happy with. So tell us how you came up with that list.
Yeah, so I kind of looked and I was like, I knew I wanted to study business, and I knew the schools that had the top business programs, and I looked at those and I picked my handful of the ones that I would want to go to or that interested me. And then I looked down and I was like, okay, let's look at a little bit lower schools in the middle. And then I kind of only applied in California besides I only applied in California. I didn't really want to leave California. So I just looked in California, all the schools. I found LMU, Cal Poly Pomona, UCI. And I just looked down the list and saw what fit with me too.
Oh, this is great. Okay. So first of all, I love the palm trees that are in the background. I don't know if you can see that, sort of the glare of the glass. I can see palm trees, but he's not in California, everybody. He's in Hawaii. So you wanted to stay in California. Was that for family reasons or just because you love California? What was the reasoning behind only applying to schools in California?
Yeah, well, with me, I kind of just looked and I was like, I like California. I like my location, NorCal, SoCal. I grew up in both areas. And I was like, I don't really they kind of have everything. All the schools that I would ever want to go to were in the area. And I was like, I don't think I really want to move all the way to the East Coast yet and have to deal with the winter and stuff like that. So I kind of just stayed what I knew.
All right. Well, and most people would say that it's pretty, if you only applying to schools in California. There are a lot of very competitive schools in California. So you're taking a risk of like, oh, where am I going to get admitted? So, all right. Well, one of the essays that I really remember and will be in our sample packet for essay camp this coming summer is that you started doing washing cars for money during the COVID time. And what I loved about that is that it also sort of ties in with your interest in business. So have you always had sort of an entrepreneurial mind, or where does the interest for business come from?
Yeah, I kind of started that when I was like little, and I wrote about that in one of my essays too. I wrote about when I was in like middle school, like and elementary school, we went to like CVS and I bought like a thing of candy canes during Christmas, and I started like selling them for like I think it was like $1.50 each. And then I was like selling them to like my classmates, and I made like $50. And I just remember I went to the mall and we bought like a kendama because those were in at the time. So like that's kind of how it started. I was like, I wanted to get a kendama. Like, how would I get it?
Now, okay, what are you saying? What is a kendama?
It's like this like little like wood and like toy where you like put it up and like you have to get it in a cup, and then like it was like really popular when I was in middle school.
Okay, so who were you selling these like highway robbery $1.50 per candy cane? Who was buying these from you? Just neighbors?
It was all my classmates. Like at break, like everybody would like just come and be like, oh, like $1, like everybody come grab one. I have like the different flavors or the regular ones. It was kind of funny.
So you got this bug of making money and having an entrepreneurial spirit pretty young. And then tell us the story. I love the way you talk about you know, how it was during COVID, if I'm correct, that you got on your bike and how did you start the car wash business?
Yeah, so basically like I live in a small town, Half Moon Bay. It was like kind of hit hard during the pandemic. Like a lot of the businesses closed down for a long time. Like they weren't opening back up. And I kind of wanted to get a job. I had no money. I was just doing nothing. So I couldn't get a job anywhere. Everyone was denying me and like nobody wanted to hire me. I was like, okay, how am I going to make money? And then I thought I was like, okay, I could like wash cars, like $20 a person. That's not bad. Like, okay, I'll try it out. I thought it was going to flop. I got a green bucket at Target. I got a sponge, a thing of soap. And then I just got like some towels and I put it in the back of my bike. And I posted on Nextdoor, this app like for the neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because I knew like it's only like adults on the app. I was like, okay, I'll just like see like which one of my neighbors want to hire me to wash their car. So I made a post. I put it out there, like all my neighbors just like started messaging me to wash their cars, and like it was great.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I could have used you during COVID because like, I mean, nobody was going anywhere, and it just, you know, so yeah, that was a good little side hustle that you did. Great. Now, we talk about Coolness Factor, and certainly that's one of it. You know, it's tied and connected to what you want to do and what you said you want to major in. You applied to business schools, and you're headed to the Marshall School of Business at USC. But there are other things that are a little bit of a coolness factor for you, and maybe just share a little bit about the mariachi band or other things that you believe help make you stand out in your application.
Yeah. So I'd say there was two really big ones. The first was like one, I wrote a lot about my culture and my like mariachi and what I've done in my community to like bring my community up with me. And I also wrote about what's it called? Oh, I just totally blanked right now. Oh, I wrote about growing up in a small like public school with not like a lot of funding, and what I would do if I went to USC and how I would use like their resources. So I kind of wrote one like, oh, like if I went to USC, like I'd be in these clubs, I'd be taking this class, I'd be doing this, I could see myself literally like in the mariachi at USC. Just all the stuff that I could see myself doing at USC and like using their resources that I didn't have access to in my public high school. And yeah. I think that was a really big factor, like showing that I really wanted to like be there, you know?
Right. And the real big part is that when you say to any college, oh, I'm going to be involved in these clubs or that club or do this sport or whatever, it helps to have the evidence, the support that you've done it already. So it was clear to them that of course you're going to do that because that's what you've been doing. Mm-hmm. So, okay. Now, I don't remember the answer to this question. So did you take tests? Did you do SAT or ACT? Did you submit testing?
I actually, no, I never took the SAT or the ACT. So I went in test optional, yeah.
Yeah, so test optional, you chose to not take it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
good. I haven't been asking that question, obviously, but there's so many schools that are test optional. So a lot of students are choosing to not take the exam. All right, so that's good. Now, so these are two questions before we get to your celebration. The two questions that really are on the minds of younger students who are about to start this process or will start it a year from now if they're sophomores. What did you do right? So looking at your whole career as a high school student, 9th grade to 12th grade, what did you do right as your advice to others, like you should do this? And what would you do differently if you had to do this all over again?
Okay. So I think for sure what I did right was staying on top of like my grades, my classes, building up my like portfolio of what I've done, like all the clubs that I did in my high school and started, like started a diversity club. I was a member of like environmental club. I just did like a bunch of like community service as well. And I just had a lot of stuff that I just like doing like as a person. And it just happened to like also like work well with what I wanted to write about too.
Yes.
So yeah, I built up and just keep your classes, your grades good, do stuff that you like to do and that you could write about. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Doing stuff. So many students think that, there's a specific formula or like they all have to do community service. And I say, if you don't like to do community service, do something else, but just do something that you love to do. So that's good advice. Awesome. Now, what would you do differently? Do you have any regrets? Do you wish you would have done something more different?
Yeah, I wish for sure I would have done a little bit more research into like looking elsewhere. Like I'm happy where I am for sure, but I feel a lot of people like that I talked to knew a lot more like about the like when this test stuff came out or when the decisions came out, what I needed to know about like applying, like all this stuff, like people go in a lot and do a lot of research. I kind of just like was like, okay, they have a good business school, blah, blah, blah. Like I'll apply there. And then like after, if I get in, I'll go look at it more.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So you're saying you would start a little bit earlier with really doing your homework and learning.
Yeah, your realistic list of where you're going to apply.
Yeah.
And make sure you check the pages for all the different essays you need to. Because after like the UC app and the Cal State app, it's all different applications.
We're going to bring your mom here in a minute, but can you say a word about like, did you have any clues to like just how many essays you were going to have to write? I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of also just sat down and I wrote like several different essays for a certain prompt. And then from those I'd pick and then I'd revise it. Maybe I'd mix like 2 or 3 of them together and like the best parts of them. I kind of got good at like doing that, like mixing together like 2 really good ideas. Yeah.
That's hard to do. It's hard to do well. So good. I'm glad it all worked out for you. Awesome. Okay. So usually about this time I do the drum roll and I say, tell us where you're going, but we already know. So woo! Okay. Bring mom in. Mom, let's see you. Is she there?
Yeah.
She's wearing her USC red. Okay. Well, Mom, what would you like to say to your son?
I'm really proud of him because he's a legacy, and that is amazing on its own. We're very proud of all of the work he's done on his own, and this has been a journey from the beginning. He's chosen his path, and we've always been supportive of what his personal intentions were, and to see that it lined up with our legacy, our USC, which we loved. His dad was part of the Marshall School, and that is just amazing. We're so proud of him because it takes a lot of intention to end up on this road. He's worked very hard, and this is all on him, and he built himself up as a person who's worthy of this. He's going to step into a university that's going to meet him with open arms, and he's ready for that challenge, and that's exciting because Cynthia, we know what a great experience he's going to have. And I met Cynthia. She was my first person that I met at USC, and look at all these years later and we're still connected, and she's doing amazing things. I'm so proud of you. And to have you interact with my son at this level and be part of his journey has also been an amazing thing. This is a really hard journey, even as a parent, to go through, because it's different from when we went to school. The level of competition to get into any school is beyond anything we ever experienced. And having two parents that went through that journey is still a challenge to navigate this. And we did navigate. You know, there were a lot of essays and there were a lot of different things. Each school asked for different things at different levels and different ideas and questions. And with your help, he navigated that. You know, it was hard, but kind of like this whole thing is a challenging experience to be able to find in your school. It's a match.
Yes.
You know, what are you looking for? And then what the school is looking for. And maybe the schools that you do get accepted to are not a match when you really, really, really look at what the journey is going to be once you get there.
Which is what his advice was, to start early and do that research, which is so really, really key. So for full disclosure, Veronica just said that we knew each other at USC when we were just kids. Like, it just feels like, well, I still feel like a kid. I don't know. And I want to just say, because this is, I disclosed, for those of you who are watching and listening, right before we went live, I said to Julio, this is the first time that I'm interviewing someone who not only got admitted to USC, but actually is choosing USC. So we've had students who have been admitted before, but I'm finally interviewing someone who's attending, which is meaningful to me, because faithful, scholarly, skillful, courageous, ambitious. Those are the 5 words on the side of Tommy Trojan. And I live by those words even to this day. But I want to ask you, because what you just said is so true, that when we went through this process, USC was not a top 30 school. I mean, I feel like, I often feel, gosh, if I applied again today, like, would I be admitted myself? So it must have been nerve-wracking to hope and wait and wish and just wonder if your son was going to be admitted to his dream school, which was your dream school, which was my dream school. So can you just share a little bit, if you don't mind being vulnerable or candid, about what that's like to, years later, go through that process and wait?
Mm-hmm. I went in as a freshman, and my husband went in as a junior, as a transfer, and our experiences were different just on that alone. But the level of competition to get into these schools, and the grades, and the level of development, even before you get to that university level at the high school, is just so rigorous. Mm-hmm. And so there was a lot of pressure to do everything under the book to get even on your resume. But a lot of the way we raised our boys, we have 3 boys, was that they had to find their own match to be happy and fulfill what each one is different and what their passions are. And I think that was an important link to have this, to kind of like guide them to become a well-rounded individual, to kind of go after their own individual passions, Yeah. We could see Julio's entrepreneurial spirit when he was little. I'm talking about, for his birthday, he wanted stock. I don't know if you remember that, but what stock did you buy?
A GoPro.
He bought GoPro stock when he was like in middle school.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. I mean, who does that? And then he would wake up in the morning and come to our bedroom and he would say, okay, Dad, he didn't have a phone. Okay, Dad, where does my stock look like today? I mean, who does that? Yeah. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
So, when he wanted...
The 2 of you were so good to foster that passion and not let your own ego or what you think is right or what you want for him, but just let him find his way. So good of you to do that.
So, he spent his money on stock and instead of toys. So it was like, oh, okay. And when he wanted to start his business, it was like, yes. In the COVID world, it fit what our family protection and what I thought, he navigated that very well in a situation where our town was hit really hard and a lot of people lost their business. So there weren't those regular business opportunities to have your first job. And he thought outside of the box and did his thing. And he was really successful because he was talking to people and navigating, you know, he had that social interaction and got repeat business. And they got on the app and shared what a great kid he was. And he did all that on his own by just his personal interactions and his business ethic. He was on time. So slowly but surely, he started to like navigate that business sense of, you know, just every detail you could imagine of running your own business. And he did that on his own. So yeah, it's amazing. I'm really proud of him because he navigated himself, you know. It was kind of his own little journey building his own self. So then, you know, you get to the application process and it was like, you are enough now. Now you're going to find your match school. And what you think is a match might not end up being your match when you really, really think about what you want and what the university is going to offer. But it's easier said than done because, you know, it's off the charts. You want to get in, you want all the acceptance, but, you know, really, it would be like, did you really want that school? Yeah. Like, are you really going to go? And so it's kind of a reality check when you think about what is your ideal school, you know, it's kind of like a song and dance. And I think, you know, now looking back, his list of is probably different than what it started, you know. Yeah.
That's good.
Different. It's different. And well,
I was just going to say that even juniors who are watching or listening right now, who you are a year from now is very different. So often I say, you know, put a couple of those schools that you're not so sure about, but it's maybe a maybe, because those could be the schools you really actually end up wanting later. You don't know, you know, where you're going to land. So that's good.
Yeah, there was definitely like a school like LMU for me where I almost didn't even apply. And then I applied there. And then when I got in, like I went to visit it and I was like, whoa, like I can actually like see myself here. So it's like, if there's a school you're unsure about, but it's in like an area you like, it has like all the stuff you want, definitely like apply. Don't be afraid to just do like an extra essay. Like it won't hurt that much in the long run, you know?
Oh, that's good. That's good. Now, have you been to, I'm assuming you've been to the campus, USC campus recently, because, you know, Vero, it's like totally different. You're like, they have a Trader Joe's? What?
Yeah.
Completely different.
Yes, you're going to have an amazing time. You're going to meet amazing friends. And, you know, I live by, my mom used to say, dime con quien andas y te digo quién eres. And I always just felt like when I was at USC, I felt like I was surrounded by people not similar to me in the where I was in that moment, but I was surrounded with people who I aspired to become after 4 years, right? By the time I was done, I learned something from everyone I met who made me a better person. And so that's really ultimately I believe when you pick a school that you have to be looking forward, not just who has commonalities with me right now, but what are the things I'm missing? What are my gaps? And how are the people I'm going to surround myself going to fill those gaps?
And, you know, through this whole process, I think my boys started with you in the summer, right? They started in the summer and they did the first essay camp that you did.
It was like the first week of June or something, very early.
Like the morning after they got out of school, right? And I think it was really good because it jumpstart them on this mission of like your priorities for the summer to get themselves organized. And a lot of the essays were different throughout, you know, the different schools. Some of them shifted and they were different questions and they had to do another essay. But the skills they learned, they mastered the ideas of how to conquer that essay question, that it set them on the right path and they didn't panic and, you know, jump off the edge. It was like, okay, let's focus and get organized. And I thank you because it was an amazing process for them to go through and it helped them. Even their mindset changed on how to conquer that question.
Well, the half of the battle of this journey, right, again, if you're a junior watching this, you're about 7 months away from applying to college. Not a lot of time. But half the battle is really just the mindset and wrapping your brain around that this is a temporary part-time job. Part-time job. So the sooner you can get your mind around that, the better off you're going to be. And what we teach in the class, as you said, is a formula, a way to bring out the narrative, not just what you value, but really the why it matters. So, yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. So you're in Hawaii. What else are you going to do to celebrate, or what have you done to celebrate?
I just want to relax, to be honest. Like, it feels like unreal already. And I think after going to like see the admission day, it feels more like real and like that I'm actually going to be going there. So I'm just going to relax. And then when I go back to school, finish up and enjoy.
We're having a big party, a big celebration this summer because, you know, COVID, we didn't see a lot of our family. And this is a big deal for us. We are a legacy family. My husband's sisters, our cousins, they all went to USC. And so we're really happy and really proud because we know what an effort it took for him to be worthy of that next step and feel like confident that he's going to be successful. So we're so proud of him.
Oh, awesome. This is great. Oh, what a great time to be coming out of COVID and be able to have a big celebration. So
absolutely.
Yeah, you deserve it. You deserve everything that you worked so hard for and put in the effort. And, you know, so I congratulate you. And I have been honored to be even a small part of your journey. So
thank you. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me wrap up. This was a longer interview than I've had. Let me wrap up and then we'll say goodbye. So, oh my gosh. So if you're watching right now, you're thinking, I got caught up. I forgot we were even doing a real formal interview. But let me just say, if this episode has in any way fueled your confidence or helped to build your dreams, and how could it not? I mean, my goodness, please share this episode with 3 people in the next 30 minutes. And if you do nothing else today, please join us over in Destination University on the Facebook group. That's where our parents are. That's where you get all the hot tips from me, the behind the scenes. And it's Destination University, YOU, because the destination is not university. The destination is you. You heard Julio and his mom, my good friend from USC. They talked about SA Camp. SA Camp officially opened yesterday, April 11th. And so you can head on over to drcynthiacolon.com/SA Camp. And as they said, I would recommend getting a spot in the early camps to get your mind going. All right, that's all I have for you. Be sure to tune in the rest of the April where we'll meet other students and hear all about their journey. So anyway, wave everybody. Say goodbye. Thanks, Julio. Oh my gosh. Fight on. Remember, faithful, scholarly, skillful, courageous, ambitious. That's
all
it.
Right.
Thank you.
Fight on.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening this week to Destination University. Be sure to join Dr. Cynthia Colon again and get one step closer to your success.